And one of the features on tube cutters we always get asked by our students is what is this little groove for? So you'll see that little groove on these Hilmar. The next size here, you'll see the little groove there. And even when we go to our Milwaukee's here, the rollers have that little groove. So what the groove is for is, let's say you flare a piece of copper like such, the nice flare at the end with the flare nut for connecting, and you forgot to put the nut on, or you need to cut it off, it's too long. Instead of cutting the copper way down here where the copper tube cutters would fit, it'd be nice to just cut the flare off. You'll see the little rollers right here. So when you stick your piece of flared copper in, if you actually slide it up, the flare will sit perfectly in those rollers. And when you bring the cutter in, it's going to go right to the bottom of the flare. So when you cut it, you actually lose only the flare and you lose minimal amount of copper. So that's what this little groove is here is for. If you didn't have the grooves, you'd have to stick it past the rollers and it would go right about here. So you'd lose a lot more copper. So that's the nice part about the rollers. It sticks right in the rollers and you can cut your copper with minimal loss. So I've had students ask me, when should I use the big tube cutters and when should I use the small little GIMP ones? Well, I usually use these only in tight spaces where I can't fit a bigger tube cutter, as these ones cut much easier. There's more than 2 rollers. These ones cut pretty good too. It's easier to use. Uh, Nothing wrong with these style of tube cutters. They work great, but they're not as comfortable to use all day long. So when I use these are in really tight spaces, like here, when you have to cut, there's lots of stuff around. So if I use these guys, if I put it over top, if I was to try to spin, I'm going to hit all kinds of stuff, right? It's not going to work. If I use my little guys, they'll fit easily on this pipe and they can spin all the way around and cut easily. So the reason in class here is why we have so many kinds is they're for different applications. So with these larger Hilmar tube cutters, some nice features. It's broken off, but at the back here, you actually have a reamer that can pop out. You have a clutch, so you can go from a large to small piece of copper pretty easily. This one does 1/8 of an inch to 1 3/4. I like this one's got a lot of weight to it, cuts pretty nicely. It has 4 rollers.